Hello and welcome to my channel. Mimi here. Thank you so much for joining me. To my new subscribers and to my returning subscribers, thank you so much for coming back. Today what I'm going to do is a Dollar Tree swag, and I'm using a lot of the items from Dollar Tree, and I'm also using the Dollar Tree Christmas tree. I pulled the bottom of the Christmas tree apart so that I can use that to start to create the swag. This swag that I'm making is for my daughter for her first holiday, actually decorating in her new place, and I'm doing that as a winter white Christmas. So I've got both of those, and fluffing these would only take less than a minute. So I've already done that, got everything fluffed, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lay one on top of the other. Not exactly. I'm going to lay it down just a little bit further down, and then I'm going to use zip ties to connect the two together. Here's a quick tip for the zip ties. When you add them to the wreath or to a swag or whatever you're working with, I like to try to make sure that that part that is attached, that I leave that on the front and cut it on the front. The reason for that is so that it does not scratch either a wall, a door, or glass. So I wanted to pass that one out to you. So that's what I'm doing right now, making sure that I've got both pieces of the swag together, and then I'm going to attach the zip tie, and I'm going to again make sure that that closure part is facing up and not under the swag. And that's how I put the base together. And now it's time to start to add some items to the swag. I'm going to do a 5-loop bow using the 1.5-inch ribbon, and then I'm going to come back in and I'm going to do 3 loops on the 2.5-inch ribbon. And then to that I'm going to attach just some tails or some ribbons, some streamers that I'm going to cut off and attach those to the bottom of it. And by the way, that 2.5 gold gorgeous ribbon is going to be available in my Etsy store within the next couple of days. I can certainly get that shipped out to you as quickly as possible. It is very beautiful, shiny, easy to work with, and of course it is a wired ribbon. I generally like to cut the ends of my ribbon pretty long because, of course, it's easier to cut off more and not easy to add more to it. So that works for me. It's just a little tip there. Don't be afraid to just let your streamers come down longer or the ribbons come down longer, and then just make the adjustment once you add the ribbon and the bows to the swag. The next thing I'm going to do is to go ahead and add some of the ribbon to the bottom of the bow and create some additional streamers. Now I'm going to attach the bow and the streamers together using a zip tie. I like to use zip ties just because I think It keeps everything nice and tight, and that works for me when I create wreaths or bows or any other items that I use a zip tie for. Now I'm going to manipulate the loops on the bowl just to kind of spread everything out evenly and make sure that there is some difference between the 1.5 and a 2.5 inch bow. And I'm just doing this initially. There's going to be plenty of fluffing the bows as I go through this tutorial, but I just wanted to kind of get that started first. Now I'm going to share one of my little tips with you that I found works for me as well. Is I take another zip tie and I thread it in between the zip tie that I already have attached and the bow, and I just pull that right through, and then I use that zip tie and attach the bow to the swag. Now it's time for me to add greenery to the swag. The greenery that I have, I used this last year on a different centerpiece, and I just stored it away until this year, and this is a good time to use this. Again, using what I already have in my home and just adding it to this swag really saves a lot of money. This is definitely a budget-friendly swag that I'm doing for my daughter. Many of the items are from Dollar Tree. I'm going to say with the exception of the ribbons that I use for the bows and maybe a few pieces of the floral, some of the foliage. Everything else is coming from Dollar Tree for this project. As I'm adding the greenery to the swag, you can see how it just makes it a little bit more fuller. Of course, gives it a little bit more color with that greenery in there, and also gives it more texture. The tips of the greenery have some frost on them, or flocking. That's a better word to use for this. Have some flocking on it. So it is going to make it look more like a wintry feel for this swag. And that was part of the design that I was looking for with this. For this step, I'm going to add some striped white and gold deco mesh, and I'm going to add this to the swag. It's going to give it so much more texture. It is going to give it more color. It's going to add to that wintry white theme that I'm going for this swag. And it is also going to help as I add the picks in with the glue. It's going to give it more to adhere to with this deco mesh on there. So as I attach the deco mesh, I'm actually using some of the pieces from the Christmas tree to kind of wrap it around there and secure it and keep it in place. This last piece that I'm going to add, I'm going to cut this a little bit longer because I'm going to fold the raw seam up into the deco mesh like I did when I first started at the top of the swag. I'm going to fold that under so I don't have any raw edges, and so it'll be nice and clean, and I'll just wrap that under there, and then again I'll go ahead and use pieces of the tree to hold everything together for me. You know, I'd usually say quick and easy right about this time as I'm going through a project. However, as you can see, this is not so quick and maybe not as easy as most of my DIYs tend to be. I think that if you follow these steps that I'm showing you, that your swag will turn out to be just beautiful. Leave me a comment and let me know what colors that you'll be using this year. And while you're at it, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. This is what it looks like once you get all of the deco mesh attached to the swag. Now I'm going to add a poinsettia right to about the middle, right under the ribbon for this. And this poinsettia, it does match with the centerpiece that I did. I did a video on that, and I hope you go back and take a look at that. Actually, I'm going to put all of these videos in a playlist for you so that you can follow each one without having to go back and forth into the channel. It'll be right there at the end of this video for you. So I'm just going to use some glue and put that right down in there. And I'm going to also come back in and wrap another piece of the Christmas tree around that glue, and just again making sure that everything is nice and secure. Now I'm adding some of the white leaves, and these are some of the same leaves that I used on the centerpiece. Of course, I want to just make sure that everything is as cohesive as possible and that you can tell that it's intentional for this situation, and that everything just really matches from the time that you come through the door all the way up into, in her case, for her new home. And I generally do that. A lot of people ask me, well, you know, do you do a different color or design in each room? For me, I like for everything, if I'm doing red and gold, all of the rooms are going to be red and gold. For me, it just makes it easier. It makes a good flow from one room to the other in my home. And for me, I just think it's very appealing. I know that some people tend to do different colors in different rooms, and I have seen so many wonderful designs out there. However, for me, I like to use the same colors as I decorate my home for the holiday. Now it's time to add a little bling to this swag. So I'm going to add some ornaments. I have 3 on a pipe cleaner. 2 of them came from the Dollar Tree, those real pretty sparkly ones. And then that star, I just pulled that out of something that I had in my home that wasn't being used. So I'm using a pipe cleaner on this case because the openings on the ornaments from the Dollar Tree are very narrow. So the pipe cleaner is a great tool, or even some wire, to attach the ornaments to this swag. Now I'm going to come in and add some more bling. Now these picks, I also got them from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to clip them into pieces, and I'm going to add them side to side, up and down on the swag just to give it some more bling. I'm going to add another bow to the bottom of the swag using the 2.5 inch and the 1.5 inch ribbon. Once I attach that, I am going to go ahead and do my fluffing. I'm going to cut off any pieces on the tails. For this project, I am going to dovetail the 2.5 inch ribbon for the 1.5 inch. I'm going to cut that at a slant. I like that design, kind of give it a little bit of a variation, always keeping your eye moving around the work that you've done, the artwork in this case with this swag, just makes it very interesting, makes people want to go up to it, take a look at it, and just see how you did what you did. There's another example of me attaching that zip tie, just kind of threading it under the one that's already attached to the bows, and I'm going to add that to the bottom of the swag. And now it's time to fluff the bows to make sure all the ribbons have been cut the way that I want them to be cut on this swag. I'm going to do that from the bottom, and I'm going to go all the way up to the top of the swag to make sure that everything is nice and fluffed there as well. Well, I hope that you like this video. Certainly look around your home, take a trip to the Dollar Tree and pick up some items there. These little Dollar Tree trees are perfect to use as a base for something like this, for swag. So let me know what you think. Leave me a comment. Certainly come back. Not as quick and easy, but I'm sure that you can turn your swag into something that you'll be proud to hang or even give as a gift. I'm going to add a playlist at the end of the video so that you can go back and see a few of the other things that I did for this winter white decoration for my daughter. So thank you for watching. I certainly appreciate your time. And as I always say, whatever you do and wherever you go, especially during the holiday season, be blessed.